The Final Frontier. The stories contained within this content are the after 5 p.m. and before 8 p.m. escapades of a middle-aged space nerd with a fro, continuing to talk about things that only interest me for bonus content. I will talk about space news, pop culture in space and shop talk, ramen, and break down the latest episode of Star Trek, whatever is coming out from the latest franchise. And also whatever is popping in my head. If you're up for this journey, just know that this is a metered, shade-laced opinion. If you don't agree, don't subscribe, but I hope you will. And thanks for the support. Just when you thought that it was silent, that the earth was just, and the universe was just one big void and there is silence, there is just so much noise or music that is contained within our system itself. A lot of what we know about sound waves and music, we can actually gather from the public domain that has been gathered by infrared technology and goes on to be enjoyed now with the James Webb Space Telescope. This telescope has replaced Hubble as one of the most powerful space telescopes ever built, and it's basically was built by Northrop Grumman, a company that is headquartered here in America. And some of the beauty, the solar system, hold on for a second. I basically had pulled up several of the James Webb infrared telescope, and I'll actually include a lot of these in the extended podcast notes that's on Dale's Angels Inc. But these are some of the I just am just fascinated by space. I've always been fascinated by, even prior to me participating in the Space Life Sciences training program all the way back in 1992. And I did it for more than hanging on the beach with my friends. I actually had a really good time. But when you go to the Webb Space Telescope, you see asteroids and you see only portions of our vast universe. It is absolutely amazing. And I've included them in the podcast notes because I think they're dope. I'm a big space nerd. We all pay taxes so we can actually have access to some of the dopest shit on the earth. And I know people would say, what is the fascination? You'll never be an astronaut and blah, 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 blah. But okay, I won't probably be an astronaut. But at least I could see where my money is being wonderfully spent. I'm okay. So I'm not going to get out to space. But at least as an American citizen, I can still dream. I can still enjoy my tax dollars at work, bringing science to life. We got Stephen's Quintet. We got nebulas. We got cosmic cliffs. All of this stuff is in the public domain for us to admire and to share and discuss amongst each other. Why wouldn't you discuss this at a bar? Why wouldn't you discuss this at a nerdy kind of shop? You know, I could see this being discussed at people getting locks and seeing, oh, this is what our money. Oh, these are beautiful pictures. How can I get access to this? I need to go to FedEx Kinko's, blow this stuff up and include it on a Velcro picture frame so I can drive around and admire it while I'm sitting in my RV. That's how I roll. Y'all need to roll accordingly. So check all of these things out. This is I think personally, good usage of my tax dollars, bringing science back to the world, being a listening and translating this into digestible, creative beauty so all of us can understand it. And that's all I got to say about that. And that's it for NASA News. What y'all got? How many times have we heard that jam? Y'all ready for this? Jock jams. You gotta jam to this. You gotta be ready for this. I'm just saying. So I'm not trying to be dismissive or dissing the Cowboys, but every time I learn something interesting, I'm learning about franchise tags. So this is not new, but the franchise tag seems to be specific to the NFL. I have been following the Free Brittany Griner issue since she had been locked up. Brittany Griner is an American female basketball player that does play for the Phoenix Mercury. She was locked up for 10 months in a Russian penal colony for having a marijuana-laced, allegedly, vape cartridge. A whole bunch of nonsense went on. Russia, in the meantime, invaded Ukraine, said they were trying to free them from Nazis. Okay, y'all lying, but they wouldn't let her go easily, but one of the reasons why her and players like her that represented the United States well in the Olympics, played well for the NCAA. Granted, March Madness is getting ready to start, and she dominated, and she is, for her own choice, a masculine presenting lesbian who is married to a wonderful woman named Cheryl Griner. Advocated all that time. State Department traded a guns runner, notorious billion-dollar guns runner, Russian guns runner, to get Brittany over here, but there was no way that she could have stayed over there. Showed up beautiful with her and her wife at the Image Awards. Just floored me. And it's reported that she took a pay cut to even come back to play for them for that year. I say all of this to say that was one of the reasons why she was over at Russia. Had been playing over there since she got drafted in 2013 because her salary was crap. I make more than Brittany Griner. I'm getting ready to get my bonus tomorrow. Even with my bonus is Brittany Griner's supposedly her pay. And that's what y'all are doing now? Is this what we're doing now? I'm saying all of this to say the franchise tag that they actually got Tony Pollard under still is worth 55,000 times more than what Brittany Griner is getting ready to get in the WNBA. And it's appalling. That's why she went over there, and she didn't know she was going to be risking her life to actually continue to play a game that she loves. Y'all need to pay Brittany Griner more than mine. Because if it's true, y'all need to be paying that girl what she went through. She need combat pay. Y'all need to be paying her more than what I get in 1 year's bonus at my current daytime job. Y'all need to stop the bullshit. But I say all of this to say, because they have put Tony Pollard, one of the marquee running backs for the Dallas Cowboys, under a franchise tag. What that means is he got a year contract that will give them some wiggle room as far as the salary tag. He has until July to either answer for it or he becomes a free agent. What this also means that there's been all these rumors about Zeke Elliott, his legs are giving out. Yeah, I believe it when I see it. He started 14 or 15 games. Fuck y'all. He got more steam. Y'all just trying to get a marquee player at food stamp prices. Stop it. However, I didn't know Dak Prescott played on the tag in 2020 before he got his 4-year, $160 million deal. But Dalton Schultz, a tight end, played for $10.9 million. Either way, I hope he at least accepts it, and they negotiate a deal that is worth his stats, because he basically pulled us out of a whole bunch of stuff, but he was hurt when we lost against San Francisco. There's so much swag that I plan on getting as I get my bonus. Thinking about Brittany Griner, that I make more just in my bonus than she makes for a year playing professional basketball, which sucks. But I want to get an updated Star Trek communicator. I need to get some Brittany Griner Phoenix Mercury swag, as well as an updated throwback for Tony Pollard. That's what I can do. I'll continue to follow this story as we progress into March Madness. I'm still trying to figure out the whole brackets, y'all. I didn't know I'm going to need, they're like 300 some odd schools, 32 conferences, and you basically need to create a bracket based on each freaking conference. The tournament doesn't start until Monday, but I got a lot of work to do to basically figure it out. But I'll be following the Mercury once they tip off in May. I'm going to be following the rest of the combine, which I think already ended, as well as the NFL draft that's actually getting ready to kick off too. So there's a lot of stuff that I want to get, and I hope you will follow me and just let me know who your favorite prospects are for the March Madness, as well as what do you think is going to happen with this putting Pollard under this franchise tag. I think it's going to be interesting, but it's hard for a marquee team like the Dallas Cowboys to release up any cash when now they got these salary caps, because they got so many good players. Who you going to get rid of? You ain't getting rid of Dak. You bet not get rid of Zeke, because that would be absolutely crazy. However, Amari Cooper, they let Mark Cooper's ass go. Well, there you go. But no, I guess nobody is immune to get cut from the Dallas Cowboys. Wow, y'all, that's crazy as a mother. So I'm watching some highlights from the 2023 Combine. And of course, the first up appears to be the quarterbacks. And of course, Anthony Richardson, University of Florida, go Gators. I'm excited about the chance to see him in action. I think he's going to go pretty high or pretty far as as the NFL. I'm also wondering if he is going to actually, he's built like a linebacker, so I'm not sure if he would be a great prospect for as a backup for my team, Dallas Cowboys, but I'm here for it. How about that? Just when I was about to say, yo, what is going on with the lack of black quarterbacks? Then up comes Ishmael Malik Cunningham, a prospect. He's not all that easy on the eyes, but he has great hands. So watch out for him. I meant to say watch out for him also as I fuss on this episode. CJ Stroud repping Ohio State. Wow. These brothers actually have great hands, great rhythm, can read the play. Any of them would be an asset. Second string for not even a season, but definitely someone that you would want on your roster to round out your roster just in case your marquee player gets hurt. Then there's Dorian Thompson Robinson out of UCLA. I'm like, who is these tight little dudes coming out of the California? what is happening with, they got everything is not bigger in California because he looks little when you compare him to Stroud and Robinson. I'm just saying. The receivers that are receiving these hot balls are looking amazing too. Wow, the combine is dope. The talent of just within this concentrated space is on par to anything I've ever seen. I would prefer to see these guys in action because if this is what the NFL has to look forward to in this upcoming season, I'm with it. I'm with it 100%. Alabama has so many great players in this combine. The running backs are on par. We got, what was this dude's name? Jamar. His name was cool as crap. Jamar Gibbs. And then we have, I don't think he is necessarily, then Texas, of course, represented with Bijan Robinson. These dudes, they just look fast. They built for speed. And they just have the look of professional athleticism with them. Since I'm slow and fat and old, I can't imagine this much talent in these amazing bodies. It is just so awesome that I absolutely get to watch these guys. Look at this dude from Michigan, Muhammad Ibrahim, 46-68 rushing yards. We got, and Jamar Gibbs played at both Alabama and Georgia Tech. I'm sure there's a story behind that. There's Chase Brown from Illinois. Some of these guys are not at such known schools, but they're pretty good. Texas A&M, Devon, a chain. Yeah, his numbers are not as good as the other dudes from Alabama. But I wonder if the dude from Alabama got issues. Then we got Keaton Mitchell. Yeah, do I care about? They got Deuce Vaughn. These guys are just putting up the numbers. Tulane. I don't know who this is. Tyon Evans. Nope. Not doing it. It's just amazing. Again, the raw talent that is in these two positions. These guys can work their tickets, but I'm wondering if life is going to get in the way of their blessing. I want to see how far they go in the NFL. If they still end up in the position that they're practicing in, where they go on the draft and where they just go on life. That is the whole issue. We got all this talent in one major space. Where is it going to go? Biodance evolution of Star Trek.
Sirs, contact the Shrike. Mark 019, dead ahead.
There you are.
Is our tractor beam operational?
Aye, sir.
Then lock onto those coordinates.
Chase fast enough, hunt well enough.
Hold.
Open your jaw wide enough and eventually the prey runs right into the mouth of the beast.
Fire keel thrusters. Cut the beam.
He threw a rock at it! Woo, Jesus! Seriously, threw an asteroid at the ship. This is some.
Just throw an asteroid?
Goddamn right I did.
This is one of the reasons why I feel inspired and blessed, because I get to watch a pretty well-written, well-directed, well-produced, no money spared version or iteration of the Star Trek verse. I'm talking about Picard. I was, sometimes the series or the episodes can start off kind of slow, but this one, I can truly say it wasn't all that slow. It was just, there was a lot of backstory. But it all tied in my opinion. I can look at Seven of Nine coming to in on her own, and she can't lie. Her Borg parts won't allow her to lie, as well as the jackass captain, who is very funny. He knows he's a jackass, and he is so stinking funny, and it just cracks me up that he doesn't, shirk what the jackassery he is. And also, it's all coming to fruition. Everybody from Next Generation, Voyager, Deep Space Nine, all have beef with the Admiral. And they all basically relate why they have beef with him. They reconcile with it and they keep it pushing. We still don't understand why Jack Crusher, number one, I was never really a fan of the Crushers. Beverly Crusher in particular. Her and Wesley Crusher, just too smart for their own good. Entitled Karen, couldn't stand her. Also blamed her for not revealing Jack's present. Why she gave him the choice when he was older, when he was going to not choose to know the great Jean-Luc Picard. Trying to protect him, ended up needing his protection in all of his iterations. She basically is no worse, and probably worse than every baby mama that basically hid the paternity of their kid from their children to protect themselves, but not the kid. He should have known who his dad was, met him when he was younger, been able to deal with it, and had some type of relationship. She only protected her feelings. Beverly Crusher's character ain't slick. She need to go sit down somewhere. What I thought was truly dope was the fact that both, in a sense, the lack of family, because at this time before, when he was talking to the young Star Trek officers, he basically related to them the only family he needed was Starfleet, but that wasn't really true. He knew he had missed almost 30 years of being a presence in his cool son's life. And this is different than the Romulan that basically spent his life on the dark side of Romulus. I thought that was pretty interesting because that was also his son. And they had beef, of course. But this is a little bit more. And I'm wondering, is he on the same drug that Raffaella was on? Or is he a changeling or part changeling in some manifestation, or some genetically modified human like the Jem'Hadar were, and they just want their technology back? I don't know. But the only reason why the Dominion would go so hard to get him back is because he basically took something that was theirs, or he is part of them, and they want to forcefully bring him back because he may be the answer to why they are so dysmorphic, or he may be the answer to the survival of their race. That's why they're going after him so hard. And the whole David and Goliath sitch between the Titan throwing the big asteroid at them, it is so Will Rycker. Was some funny ass shit. I was like, is he really going to slingshot that bitch? Number one, the birth of the interstellar organisms reminded me of, what is that? The only life form that could beat the Borg that lived in subspace. Reminded me of that. But these organisms seem to be not as hostile as those organisms. But how they linked birth into, I thought it was going to be a birth of a star. It was a birth of an octopus-like organism. I thought that was dope. But we've seen either the Enterprise or other starships basically ride eddies and shock waves out of sticky situations, like bad ass surfer dudes, which I thought was dope. But they basically scooped up the energy, basically like an extension cord, recharged their shit like an iPhone, and jumpstart themselves to get out of the eddy. I thought it was absolutely brilliant, but I've seen it before in other iterations of Star Trek. But still, this rewrite was on point. And then for them, but the real Rycker of it all, taking the slingshot and busting right in the forehead, that was funny as a motherfucker. I've screamed out loud. I've watched it twice now, and I keep laughing. I had to include it in the audio. I hope I included a little bit so it won't get me removed from YouTube or whatever, but it was just so freaking dope. I had to let you guys listen to just that portion because it came at the end of this week's episode. And just, you can navigate to Paramount Plus where you can stream it. It's in entirety. But that's all I basically got to say. I really love this episode. It makes me want to go to Amazon now. I need to find the new communicator that Jean-Luc Picard was wearing in this iteration, their new uniforms. I think the whole thing, it was just a well-written, well-acted, well-shot episode of this week's Star Trek Picard. I'm in it. I'm invested. I need to see what else is going to happen. Also, how are they going to integrate the new and improved chamomile tea making Worf from Next Generation into it? When is Data coming back? When is Crash's daddy coming back? I need to see it all. I think Worf's, if you look at the extras from also last week's episode, Worf talks about how he basically got ready to come back as Section 31's security officer, kind of like a contractor, and rescue Raph and help her go back and recover her sobriety. What exactly is going on? They're basically coming full circle, not just with the Borg, but with the Dominion, because I think the Dominion have been pissed off that they have been relegated to the sideline. They lost once we gained access to the Gamma Quadrant, they couldn't be the Dominion anymore. They were just being relegated to changelings. And also, what was his name? He was the officer in charge of security on Deep Space Nine, Odo. I don't think they have been right since Odo. They basically had whatever virus or dysmorphia ever since he left that particular collective. They lost control of the Jem'Hadar. They lost control of the other aliens that did their bidding, and their structure was completely obliterated. So with that said, I think somehow Jack Crusher is the answer to making them, or they think is the answer to their new domination, not just in the Gamma Quadrant, but across many other quadrants. And they're willing to risk everything for that answer, because it's just weird that they keep coming after him. What is in his genetic makeup? What is he carrying that makes him, what assets does he have? And why are they so intent to destroy the Federation? Is this get back for the Dominion Wars, or does he have the answer to their survival and domination in the other quadrants? I'm here for it, but I don't think the presence of Worf, LaForge, Will, they're not going to let that happen before these episodes of the third and final season of Picard are getting ready to end. Join me and make comments. Wherever you listen to this podcast, drop me some comments, not too trolly. I'll read it on air, or send your comments, what you think is going to actually happen and what is Jack Crusher's role in it. You can send it to TNFroisreading@gmail.com. If it's not too messy, not too crazy, I'll read it on air. I wanted to end my broadcast or this recording with just some fresh beats and as a reminder for us to be kind to ourselves, be kind to our minds, and keep creating. I mean, there's just so much horrible things and mean things going on in the world. And this is not goodbye. This is just until we meet again or until I record and drop another episode. I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I've enjoyed creating it. Check me out on social media. TNFro is reading on Instagram, TV Food Wine Girl on Twitter, and TNFro is reading the book club. I hope to get into a better state of mind as we recover as a nation from just the tragic happenstance of the last several weeks. And again, I admonish you to be kind to yourself and be kind to others. Be the action that you want to be. If you want kindness, give kindness, exude kindness, and just love yourself and love others. And again, thank you for listening.
Mike Beats.